Hello, Declan here. Anyway, I decided to take up one of the questions that I have been most frequently asked about my novel when I first did a trailer for A Pius Man, the Scott Murphy trailer, which, check the channel, it shouldn't be too hard to find. I used myself for the model, the physical model, the voiceover with my friend Matt. And somebody asked, so, would you want to play Scott Mossad Murphy in the movie? No! That's a no! I ain't that thin, I ain't that anorexic, and a few other reasons. But, hell, I'm not even as short as he's supposed to be. However, that usually leads into the usual question that I even get around my house when reading casual novels. Who would you get to play a character in your favorite book if they made it into a movie? You know, heck, my entire family played this game as soon as we figured out, oh look, they're going to make a Lord of the Rings movie. Obviously that was 15 years ago. So, but no, with my book, I've actually got people in mind. If anybody ever listened to me, if anybody ever wanted to make a movie, etc. All conditionals are stipulated too. Now, who do I have in mind? Well, let's go through the cast list. Number 1, Maureen McGrail. Now, she is an Irish Interpol cop. The premise is, there is a priest murdered in Dublin, and his next stop was going to be heading over to Rome to testify on the canonization hearings of Pope Pius XII. Should they make him a saint, should they not, etc. Maureen McGrail's mission is to go over and find out exactly what the heck was going on. She figured, okay, fine, I'll go over, I'll interview a few people, we'll be done. Doesn't quite work out that way. Now, as far as her casting is concerned, she's, let's say she's about 5'6", 5'8", dark hair, I describe it as raven black, green eyes, fair skin, and she is a deadly hand-to-hand combat expert. One of her taglines is, I don't need a weapon, I am the weapon. Now, you know, she basically has a little bit of Penjakt Silat, a little bit of Capoeira, a little bit of Krav Maga. She's from Fighter from Hell. You need Caucasian female, or at least somebody who can pass for it. Eyes aren't a problem, hair isn't a problem, contacts. And you need somebody athletic enough to at least fake some of the moves. You can't pull back far enough to let the stunt people do it all the time. On coloring basis alone, you could have somebody like, what's her name? A beautiful mind. Jennifer Connelly. Coloring is similar, but I don't think she can act her way out of a paper bag. Seriously, did you see The Rocketeer? I know I'm dating myself, but work with me here. The Rocketeer. She walks on screen, sucks all the atmosphere out of the room. The energy, gone. Similar coloring also works for Megan Fox, who could also not act her way out of a paper bag. I'm actually kind of depressed that they're getting her for April O'Neil in the Ninja Turtles movie. But then again, it's also being filmed by Michael Bay, so I'm depressed enough as it is. We're going to have freaking explosions all over New York, because nobody's ever done that before. Dear Mr. Bay, take your flying, exploding cloud of explosions and, I don't know, go to Afghanistan, go to Iran, Go to a country that doesn't like us, but, blow them up for a change. Now, my pick for Maureen McGrail is Summer Glau. Now, if you people don't know who Summer Glau is, you've never seen Hawaii Five-0. She made an appearance there recently. You never saw the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and you never saw Firefly, the TV show, science fiction TV show that went off the air 10 years ago in a massive by Fox Television. If you don't believe me, you want the details, go ask a Joss Whedon fan. And bring some popcorn because you're going to be there for a while. Now, with Summer Glau, we've heard her do voices. All the funny little voices. On Firefly, it was Cockney. And an Irish brogue isn't that hard. And if you try to steal it off of a Lucky Charms box, you're in a bit of trouble. She is athletic. If you don't believe me, see if you can YouTube her Hawaii Five-0 appearance, where she was thrown in headfirst into a kind of a gladiatorial combat experience, and she kicked major booty. Or go rent the movie Serenity. For the last 20 minutes, she kicks ass. I believe the one YouTube video from Serenity is Summer Glau beats up everybody. So that's Maureen McGrail. She's down. Who's next? Wilhelmina Goldberg, Special Agent, Secret Service Agent. Wilhelmina Goldberg, or Willy for short. She's short, Jewish, tech geek. She's sent to Rome to provide a security audit for the Pope. Basically, look around, make some suggestions, make some improvements if possible, and be on her merry way. So, she doesn't have to be your average basketball player, which, given the size of some of our presidents, you need 7-foot former basketball players to be a Secret Service agent. In the case of Willy Goldberg, she's 4'11", 5 foot. Short, dark, blonde hair lights. Who do you get for someone like that? Seriously. The angles of the face that I describe in the book, her natural hair color is anything but blonde. There are several jokes to that little fact in the novel. Maybe Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's short. She's like, what, 5'2"? I have no idea if she can speak geek. Unfortunately, given the way Hollywood casts stuff, I'm going to get one of the Charmed ones. None of the female leads on Charmed was taller than 5'4", and that was Rose McGowan. So you can imagine how short the other two are. And God, no! Another candidate I have suggested in years past has been Robin Tunney. Now, Robin Tunney's first major role was in a really bad Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called End of Days. Okay, it wasn't too terrible, but it was not one of Arnold's best. But with Robin Tunney, she is short, she's got attitude. I don't know if she can do a good old-fashioned New York Hey! But, I don't know, she's a possibility. You pop in some contacts, you put in the requisite highlights. Sorry. Who calls them highlights anyway? Especially after, oh look, highlight. Oh look, your hair is now the color of straw. And another problem with Tunney, I don't know if she can pull off technical, geek speak. There is, of course, another option with a Mary Lynn Rajkub. If you've ever seen 24, the character was Chloe O'Brien. Unfortunately, while, yes, the character of Chloe O'Brien was computer expert, she was also borderline Asperger's, to put it politely. A more recent suggestion as far as Villy goes has been Jewel State. She's short, she can do snarky, she played an engineer on two science fiction shows, so she can probably fake it. Next character, Giovanni Filia. If you remember Giovanni Filia from the little trailer I made, you might remember that he is the head of the Secret Service for the Vatican, the Swiss Guard. Giovanni Filia is by nature a soccer player, had almost gone professional in it, at least in his resume as I wrote it. He basically joined the Italian version of SWAT, pretty much a paramilitary expert, and he's got a wife and 2 children. So you need somebody who is that old, that athletic, and can at least fake an Italian accent. No, previous suggestions have consisted of Billy Zane. You might remember him wearing a skin-tight purple outfit running through New York. And good God, if you can pull off that routine, you can probably do anything. Now, who else is there? I like Adam Baldwin. Adam Baldwin, he has been playing military types his entire career. He was in Independence Day. He wound up putting a bullet in the head of an alien in Area 51. He has been in Serenity, Firefly, Joss Whedon, Angel, Joss Whedon. He was in a TV show called The Inside, which I don't think anybody knows anymore, but damn, I love that show. It was a summer replacement. But, oh yes, and of course he was on Chuck for 5 years. Baldwin is 6 foot, 6'1", big, tough, American, permanent growl in his voice. I don't think he's ever played a part where he didn't have some kind of heavy weaponry on him. So, okay. Athletic, maybe the wrong kind of athlete. I could believe him as more boxer than soccer player. I could even believe him as a running back for American football. But he's got an athletic build, he's got an understanding of weapons, he actually fires them in his spare time. Yes, I follow him on Twitter, which is why I know some of his habits. And if he could fake an Italian accent, I'll take him. Another option, which is a lot less likely, Zachary Levi, who was the title character in Chuck. Granted, he's 6'3", I think, 6'2", and he's lankier. He's got more of a runner's build, and he is in real life actually darker than he ever was on Chuck. And I've heard him do some funny little accents. Unfortunately, I don't think he's old enough. You know, I can't imagine Zachary Levi as the father of 2. Although, believe it or not, somebody who has actually been suggested to me has been Viggo Mortensen. He is Viggo! Sorry, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And come to think of it, I haven't really seen him in anything since A History of Violence. Which, okay, fine. He can at least be told how to handle a gun. He's got the right coloring. By now he is definitely in the right age range. Can he do an Italian accent? I have no idea. But he's one of those people where he will do his own stunts. I don't know, if all else fails and we can't find somebody who can pull off an Italian accent, I guess the only one left is Giancarlo Giannini. But I don't know if he's athletic enough. And he might be too old at this point. I haven't seen him in years. So, who knows? Another one I have thought of in years past for Giovanni Filia has been Carlos Bernard. Again, another 24 alumnus. On Burn Notice, I heard him do a Spanish accent. If he can pull that off, I think he could fake an Italian. Next, Hashim Abbasi. The premise was, when I first wrote the book, it was 2004. And Hashim Abbasi was a representative of the Egyptian government, basically a cop, who has come to Rome to negotiate security arrangements for the Pope's visit to the Middle East, starting in Cairo. He's an intellectual who is basically a bodybuilder, like 5'10". Imagine Ben Kingsley with 50 pounds of muscle weight and reading glasses. Now granted, I've had to rewrite some of it since Egypt decided to go straight up in flames, but what can you do? Well, it wound up being rewritten so that I'm a cop. When the Shia are in power, on paper, all the people I arrest are Sunni. When the Sunni are in power, all the people I arrest turn out to be Shia, magically, on the paperwork. News to them, but that's how it looks on the paperwork. Again, I mentioned Ben Kingsley, but too old, too thin, and he's busy playing bad guy to Tony Stark. Now, the obvious pick, and by obvious, I say Egypt. You say Arnold Vosloo, because, let's face it, the man has played the Mummy twice. He keeps playing Middle Eastern terrorists. Then again, so does Nestor Serrano, and he's Italian. Welcome to Hollywood casting. The old joke used to be, you get Jews to play Italians and Italians to play Indians. The only exception to that had been Tonto, because before 2013, the only person to play Tonto has been an actual Indian. Sorry, Native American. In short, the actor who played Tonto always belonged to a tribe. Now they have Johnny Depp. Hollywood. So, even though Arnold Vosloo is not Egyptian, and he's 4 inches taller than I'd like him to be, you know what? I'll take it. Next up, one of the more important players in this book is Sean Aloysius Patricius Ryan. Yes, the middle two initials are Latin. Now, Sean Ryan is an American mercenary who used to be a stuntman. Long story, you'll have to read either this book or it was only on stunt. And Sean Ryan is 5'6", athletic, crazy, black hair and bright electric blue eyes that you could basically see from a block off. Now, unfortunately, with Hollywood casting, well, the way Hollywood casts things, he'll probably turn out to be 6'3" and the tallest member of the cast, so he can strike a heroic, imposing figure. No, I want this guy to be 5'6". I want him to be short and vicious. Sadly, this probably means that somebody's going to cast either Elijah Wood or Tobey Maguire, and I'd sooner have Legolas or the Green Goblin. Now, 2 other suggestions I've gotten recently. One suggestion has been Seamus Dever off of Castle. Now, if you don't know Castle, why? Why not? Go turn on TNT. It's like half the programming. Once upon a time, TNT used to be the Charmed, Angel, and Law & Order rerun network. Now, it's the Mentalist Castle rerun network. Seamus Dever might work. In recent episodes of Castle, he's turned out to be a bit of a badass. So that could work. I don't think he's quite as insane as I need him to be for this role. Actually, who I would like is Christian Kane. Now, if you don't know Christian Kane, you're probably not a fan of Joss Whedon products, because he's been an Angel. More recently, he was on a TV show called Leverage. He was the Muscle. Now, granted, the actor is 5'10". Thankfully, through the magic of Hollywood, he always winds up looking short. I don't know if it's the muscular build that makes him look stout, or shorter than he actually is, or what, really. But, I don't know. You do the angles right, I think he could manage it. He can definitely manage to do all sorts of martial arts moves, or at least he fakes it well. And, well, on leverage, he mastered look in the eye of, hi, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to have fun doing it, because I'm pissed off at you. And he got the look down. Next up, Father Frank Williams. Sorry, Father Francis Williams, call him Frank. Frank is described as 5'8", 5'10", silver hair, violet eyes, and looks 30. And, oh, yeah, he could also kick ass and take names because he used to be a Green Beret. I had considered at one point, oh look, Ewan McGregor. But, you know, didn't he already do this in Da Vinci Code? Also, it's been 15 years since he played Obi-Wan to start with. He's getting a little bit old for this stuff. Really, you want somebody who can blend into the background. You know, I've seen Kiefer Sutherland do different things. 24. He could kick ass and take names. And he's apparently not as tall as some people might believe. But let's face it, Kiefer Sutherland had been on 24 for 8 years. He might be a little bit tired of blowing the heck out of stuff. Although it has been pointed out to me that I should probably get Sean Marr from Firefly Serenity to do this. Sean Marr is apparently also going to be showing up in this summer's Much Ado About Nothing, another Joss Whedon program. Are we getting a pattern here? Yes, the pattern is that Joss Whedon hires people he likes and hires people who can act. Who knew? Speaking of priests, next up, the Pope. The Pope in A Pius Man is from Africa, to be precise, the region around Sudan, Uganda. And he is big, he is physical, he is imposing as hell. He is well spoken and very, very passionate. Now, when I first started doing these little blogs on Hollyweird and casting, I figured, okay, Michael Clark Duncan, who is big enough. I didn't know if he could do an African accent, and now he's dead, so cross him off. I had considered, Forrest Whitaker, who is 6'2". He's not really small anywhere around. He's played Idi Amin, so he got the accent down. He's already done it. However, who I would want is Hakeem K. Kazim. Now, if you don't know Hakeem, he was in one of the last 2 seasons of 24. I think it was season 7. He's from Africa, Nigeria to be precise, and he's a Shakespearean actor. If you've ever seen, I don't know, pick somebody from Doctor Who. They've probably been a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. These people can do whatever the bloody hell they like. Here's where it gets fun. Scott Mossad Murphy. The premise of why we're bringing in a Mossad agent is people who are going into the Vatican archives are being killed if they look at the Pope Pius XII archive. What if one of these people turns out to be a terrorist? The terrorist ends up dead, but nobody knows who did it. Mossad thinks the CIA did it. The CIA thinks Mossad did it. Unfortunately, so enter Scott Murphy. Now, going by the name alone, you should be able to figure out that something's a little off, a little different about Scott. He's not one of the boys from around the office at King Saul Boulevard in Tel Aviv. He's 5'8". He's got dark blonde hair that's almost brown. He's got eyes so dark of blue that in the right light they look black. He's got pale skin that is the same skin tone as Mrs. Yasser Arafat. So he could pass for Palestinian even without additional skin coloring or even sun. And most of all, one of the weird things about him is he's a Boston Irish Catholic. I go into why Scott Murphy, the Catholic, is in Mossad, and why the American is in Mossad, but it's a long story. Now, Scott is the perfect spy. He is basically a gray little man who nobody notices. Unfortunately, where do you find somebody like that in Hollywood? Anywhere. I mean, good God, you have Brad Pitt come on the screen and he's Brad Pitt. What, most of the heavy hitters in Hollywood at one point were the cast of the Ocean 11 movies? None of whom are even remotely modest? I mean, good God, Matt Damon? Really? Man still can't act his way out of a paper bag. He can kick ass and take names, but you don't need that for Scott Murphy. In fact, Scott's idea of a firefight is called a failure. Because, hey, if he's doing his job, nobody notices him until he's long gone, and probably not even then. Basically, you want a chameleon. You want somebody like David Suchet, who's played Middle Eastern terrorists. He's played policemen, biblical characters, Terry Pratchett villains, Belgian detectives. Unfortunately, he left his 20s behind him, and his 30s, and I think his 40s and 50s as well. He's not a young man anymore. You'd want somebody with the acting ability of Alec Guinness, who can also disappear into the role. He's too old and too dead. So, check that one off the list. And oh yeah, I've got a list. Now, you could take somebody like Alan Tudyk, who is a very talented actor. Unfortunately, he's a little bit too well built. He's also 6 foot, but he's played geeks, he's played psychopaths, he's played the lovable mascot. Again, Firefly. Again, Joss Whedon character. Again, don't shoot. But Tudyk might be, again, a little bit too big, a little bit too obviously big. But that will depend on who's doing the camera work. I've actually had suggestions about Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, which I can't see him as blonde. I can't see him dropping the British accent, really. If anybody's actually seen him do something where he's speaking American-ish or Bostonian or something, let me know. Put it in the comments. The last character is Manana Shashurin. Now, I based Manana's looks, her physical appearance alone, on an acquaintance of mine from college. She was absolutely stunning. She was friendly, she was pleasant, she obviously had a brain in her head every time I talked to her, and her looks were awesome. Heavy on the awe-inspiring. She she was at a Bond Central casting. And I needed, in the book, somebody who was a counterpart to Scott. She had to be from German intelligence. Scott disappears into the background. She has to be stunning. The classmate of mine was the most outstandingly beautiful woman I had known at the time. She was real. She wasn't Hollywood. She wasn't airbrushed. I don't think you can airbrush a person in real life. I think that's only for photos. And if she used makeup, I could not tell. So I guess that just means it was very well applied. You also need somebody who, again, as a contrast to Scott, she also had to have superior hand-to-hand fighting skills and weapons training. Scott Murphy can barely hold a gun without shooting himself in the foot. In fact, there has been an implication or two that he's done that. So, you need somebody who can at least look like she can kick ass and take names, if not actually be able to kick ass and take names. Maybe somebody who could do an Eastern European accent, maybe German or Russian. Somebody who is outstandingly beautiful enough to draw attention of a crowd. Now, in years past, I've had to come up with a few people, guesses mostly. There has been Olivia Munn. You know, the build and the coloring matched. The facial structure was even kind of similar. You know, at the right angles. But I have no idea if this girl can act her way out of a paper bag. I've never seen her before. I think she was an extra in Iron Man 2. But aside from that, no idea about her. Now, there's always Elijah Dushku. She's pretty. She's done more hand-to-hand combat on television than practically anyone else I think I've ever seen, short of Sarah Michelle Gellar herself. She's got the right coloring. With a name like Dushku, I have the feeling her family is from the right nationality and ethnic background. I haven't looked her up. And if you ever watched A Dollhouse, yes, another Joss Whedon product, you notice that she can also do funny little accents. So, I like her for it. Although, with Manana Shashurin's background, you don't need to have somebody who does a Russian accent or even German. Although that would be a nice icing on the cake. And because of that, another option I've thought of in years past has been Anne Hathaway. Did some of her own stunt work in hand-to-hand combat in Dark Knight Rises, so I'm good with that. And I've heard her play smart, and that's as important as pretty much everything else in the book. Actually, there has been a suggestion that Stana Katic on Castle. She has done the Russian accent. She's kind of striking at the right angle. She does kick ass and take names on Castle. It looks like she kind of practices kickboxing at least, if not MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She did a rather casual Russian accent at the drop of a hat. In fact, I've heard her do a few different voices. She's another one who does funny little voices. And I think this video is more than long enough. And with any luck, I should be able to get some more videos pumped out there in the next few days. So, here's hoping. Be well, everybody, and have a good day.
Patres et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.